that. Yeah, I don't know. Man, I really feel like Lucky's whole game plan on Terminus just sort of backfired. We saw they wanted to go with the aggressive roachling, baneling play, but it got so scouted that Puma just wasn't, I mean, he was never worried at all. You know, he throws down a single bunker, had very fast tanks, and Lucky basically was forced to change his plan.
And he was never able to really adapt to what Puma was doing. So he had this idea of what he wanted to pull off. He wanted to go for the roach and baneling attack. Then Puma scouts it, is able to snipe a bunch of drones with that, and Lucky realizes, I can't pull it off. Puma will prepare for it. Puma will be in a position where he can't fend it off. And then he kind of fell apart. He tried to go for a different strategy, and it did not work at all, but he just stuck with it and tried to just run with the head through the wall. It did not work, and therefore Puma now in the lead in this best of 5.
Indeed. Indeed he is. Again with the gas opening, we might see another Reaper build from Puma. For some reason I feel like this gas might even be a little faster this time than it has been previously, but we'll see. Oh, a drone getting a little caught there. But nothing else really happening. Hatch first for Lucky. 15 hatch, and he's been going 16 pool. It looks like once again he's up to 16 drones. Oh.
Once again, he's just squeezing in another couple of drones. Actually, quite a lot of them. He is at 15 supply once again, and also getting an extractor. So the pool a lot later than usual. He is trying to make sure that he is able to get a lot faster metabolic boost than on the last game, on the last map. And we have his opponent now just trying to completely wall off Puma. No add-on just so far, going for the orbital command, not to get the mule again.
Yep, he's gone Marine first, so we might actually see Puma go straight up to factory. For Lucky, it was 15 hatch, 15 gas, 15 spawning pool, so he's going to have link speed out nice and early.
We've seen a couple of games from Lucky. Actually, we've seen one especially when he was playing against Strelok on this map, and I have to say that he kind of fell apart on the map. It's quite new, so it might be that Lucky just does not have a strategy on this map prepared. He tried to attack his opponent with Ling, Baneling, and a lot of Mutalisks, and never got into a position where he was really able to flank his opponent. The problem is that in those games against Strelok, Lucky once again attacked into siege-up tank positions, and I really hope that he learned from this experience and is now trying to position his army a little bit better and force engagements at positions that benefit him. That's
a really good point. Like what we seem to be seeing a lot of from Lucky is forcing fights and taking not the best fights. I know we've been really lauding Stefano a lot this tournament, but something he does so well is his late game army control, and the way he engages fights is always so good. And Lucky really suffered from that, both in his series against Strelok and in his last game against Puma, so I really hope to see him make some adjustments there.
And indeed he should. We have Puma now with the expansion, once again trying to start with an early expo, and a couple of links headed towards his expansion, well, just trying to take the Xenlager Watchtower for now. But the overall positioning is really well done. And this is one thing that we see every single time when there's a new map, the Overlords in the beginning. A little bit more aggressive, and then the meta game starts when the Terran players try to actively hunt down the Overlords, and from that point on it all changes. The scouting patterns completely change, and it's always kind of nice to watch. But this time I think that most players have not figured out yet where the Overlords are positioned. Because let's take for example Daybreak. We have a bunch of high ground positions where the Overlord can sit, and the only thing that the Terran player has to do is build the barracks at the low ground, build 1 or 2 Marines, lift it up, Grand Vision onto the high ground, and take down the Overlord.
Yeah. First Hellions out now for Puma. We do see that Lucky will be able to position one of these Overlords in a very nice spot, right at the choke of the natural expand. Hellion's going to try to run up the ramp, but look how prepared Lucky is. Got a couple of lings right where they need to be. Oh, surrounds and kills one Hellion.
Wow, surrounds the Hellion with 3 Zerglings. Very, very well done. Nice job by Lucky so far, and he's immediately adding another 7 drones. He's at 26 to 24 right now.
Yep. And with the loss of that first Hellion, Puma's going to have a little bit more trouble taking some of that map control. So Lucky's creep spread going to be unchecked for the time being. Adding lots of drones is the Zerg player, 35 drones to 25 SCVs. Macro hatchery going down.
The macro hatch for Lucky indeed, and this is something that we've seen quite often. A little bit of a late attack, the macro hatch in order to grant the lava to go for a lot of drones, but also the Zerglings, which are quite a lava intensive unit. So if you have the macro hatch and you have like 2 or 3 queens, you are usually in a very good position to get exactly the amount of lava that you need. And then, as we see right now, a lot of gas been taken, and we might just see it. There they are, double evolution chamber for Lucky, so he's trying to play this really, really upgrade heavy style once more.
Yeah, He's adding these evo chambers a little bit late. Look at all this gas buildup that he has. Like, why not go ahead and start your layer? I don't know. Maybe it just looks to me like his build's maybe not quite that streamlined. He could make a few adjustments here or there to either have faster infestors or quicker upgrades. Either way, we are going to see 1-1 starting, +1 melee, +1 carapace going at the same time. So probably going to be an infesterling-centric playstyle, as is becoming oh so popular in the metagame.
We have a very nice creep spread for Lucky now, and this is a little bit of a problem to Puma because he's not able to put on pressure with those Hellions. He needs to start scanning and take down the active creep tumors if he wants to have a chance to force the creep back. Right now is not in a position to do so. The lair tech finally starts for Lucky, and he also starts his +1/+1 upgrades. A lot of Zerglings being built. And you're perfectly right, Ben. We will definitely see an infestation bit once again in order to start this style that we've seen in so many games. And the Baneling Nest once more.
Down. Looks a lot like the build Stefano did. Maybe Lucky was taking notes. We'll see how he chooses to play out the mid game. Still no third base, but he does have the third hatch, which serves the same purpose, more or less, except for the whole not being able to mine from it. But yeah, only these first 4 Hellions. We do have Puma pushing forward with a handful of Marines out there in the middle of the map, so maybe going to try to get a little aggressive here.
If he gets aggressive, then the main problem for Puma is going to be that right now he doesn't have any tanks. His build is completely revolving around Marines and Hellions. He doesn't have any siege tanks, and without siege tanks it's going to be quite hard to defend against Ling, Baneling and Infester. So he definitely needs to start his tank production. Here we go with the scans, killing the active creep tumors, but Lucky already with 37 Zerglings with not yet the 1-1 attack upgrades, catching Marines off guard. Good job trying to retreat. Needs to be careful though, there are a lot of Hellions and 2 medivacs. Nice attempt by Puma to push out a bit, but he already lost a huge amount of time.
Once again, got to come out with these Lings surrounding the majority of those units, but Puma does pick up. Puma's got great medevac control. Just his drop play in general is absolutely top notch. Going to start harassing a little bit here, using medevacs in conjunction with those units, realizing now that upon seeing those queens, he can't really persist with that. So he's just going to back out of there. Third base is coming up, 2-2 on the way, pathogen glands on the way, no Baneling speed yet. But man, this build looks so identical to Stefano's.
Exactly, I have the feeling that he is doing exactly the same attempt. He's trying to go for an attack with it. As soon as the 2-2 upgrades finish, he will start with his infestors. He has Lings and Banelings on the field. And Puma just lost the game to it, but he is not building any siege tanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming so in vogue for Terrans to skip tanks for so long. And for the life of me, Calvor, I don't understand why they do it. The non-tank play is so fragile. Baneling stuff just really gives it a lot of trouble. And even infestors can give it a lot of trouble. But for whatever reason, this is what players are choosing to fall back on these days. Siege mode just now starting for Puma as he pushes down towards his third base with a pretty decent number of Marines and Hellions.
At the same time, I have no idea why Lucky is just trying to force one engagement after another if he does not have to. He's playing way too aggressive. Now he needs to defend. Not well, the cancel is probably the better choice, but no, we have infestors, and with those funnels, he's definitely able to take down Puma's army. And with 100 supply against 100, Lucky's definitely in a position where he can attack as soon as +2/+2 hits.
There's beautiful use of fungal there by Lucky. Cleans up that entire push. Oftentimes you say if you can kill the first Terran army, you can win the game, and that is an instance of Puma losing his first army. Supply-wise, we can see that he is a bit behind. Burrow being researched, Hive being researched, so it's not going to be any sort of 3-base bust or all-in. Ooh, another drop in the back of Lucky's base, though. And this could do some damage, Calvert. The Marines starting to work on the gas here at the back of the base. A couple drones go down. Marines really doing some work in the main base there.
Job at the bottom left, trying to snipe the spawning pool. This would be huge. At the same time, Lucky is now attacking the third base of Puma. The spawning pool dies, and he does not have a lot of units in order to defend against it. He needs those infestors of the fungal. This is exactly what happens. And at the same time, lifting the command center, trying to make sure that Lucky is not able to do any damage to his third. But, well, Lucky now is on even supply with Puma. Once
Puma's
again,
dropping everywhere, man. He's got another drop at the third base. It's working on the hatchery and doing a ton of damage. He's killed 15 drones so far, and he's now taken out the third base of Lucky. So while Puma did lose that first army, it basically just coaxed him into going into mega drop mode, and he's been doing damage at both ends of Lucky's, I guess, Lucky's territory. And taking out a third, killing a lot of drones, taking out a spawning pool. Right now, Lucky's rebuilding that pool. He's also getting an Ultralisk Cavern, but his economy took some damage. He's down to 56 drones. He's on just 2 bases. and he's hurting a little bit.
The spawning pool has been rebuilt. He is really in a lot of trouble right now. He has to be more careful, especially since Puma is now starting to more aggressively upgrade his bioforces. We have +3 though for Lucky, and the first 20, well, the Ultralis cabinet is halfway done, but so far only Ling Infester. Puma is, well, he has 5 tanks, 39 Marines, and still this drop at the bottom, so he can still get a little bit more aggressive. The Queen is actually able to spot the dropship, but not quite able to attack it.
You can see it, you just can't reach it, so it's like Puma taunting right now, saying, aha, can't touch me. So, anyway, so 140 supply for Puma. He's really done a good job of bouncing back after losing that first army. Lucky just adding spines and spores around his bases to hopefully not have to deal with the same kind of drop harass moving forward.
That's something that I really like, by the way. This is the one thing that Stefano could have done on Cloud Kingdom against his opponent, against the draw play, trying to get a couple of spine crawlers and spore crawlers into position. But Puma is trying to circumvent those and headed towards the main base. Lucky should be ready for it. 124 supply against 150.
Another drop at the back of the third here, Caldor. Yeah. More Marines going to stim and run in, and they're going to kill a couple of Zerglings here. This time Lucky does respond to it pretty quickly and actually cleans up the entire drop. But Puma just showing that he's not afraid to persist with this aggression.
The thing is that Puma is now on 3 bases, so he has a very good economy. He's actually had in a Harvester supply. He also has those 3 mules that he needs, and we have now +3/+3 coming up for Lucky, which is the one huge advantage that he has over his opponent. Puma just now getting +2/+2, but still in a very good position given his significant supply lead. With 161 against 128, he's looking pretty good. Should try to clean the creep tumors a little bit more actively. Having the Zerg spread his creep all over the map is definitely something he should try to avoid.
Yeah, we see another drop moving out for Puma along the left-hand side of the map. Lucky just kind of posturing up along the left side as well. Looks like he's preparing to make an attack on that third base. It's going to be tough to bust there. Narrow chokes, planetary fortress, and an army to boot. So, paused by an admin, actually.
Yeah, the admin pauses the game, which is...
I have no idea why there was a pause, but...
well, the only
see.
thing that I can come up with is apparently he has to set his status to busy because he has receiving some kind of in-game messages and they showed up on the screen at the top right.
Okay. So, busy status was not set for Lucky, but that's been resolved and we are going to continue.
All right.
All right. So again, Puma dropping, killing a couple of Overlords down here on the left side. It does alert Lucky to his presence. Infester's going to come over, but not going to be able to catch that dropship in time. Another drop on the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Caldor.
A pretty passive game that we've seen right now. And in the early game, Puma was at least trying to put a little bit of damage onto his opponent's economy, but now only those small drop plays. They don't accomplish all that much because Lucky most of the time is in a position where he can defend against it. Puma is still trying, but he did a way better job on Cloud Kingdom against Stefano. Lucky is so far doing pretty well, but Puma still ahead. Has to be careful though. And finally, this small hit squad trying to kill as many creep tumors as possible. I really like it. I've been waiting for it quite a while now. Zergling speed is, well, Baneling speed is done now, and +3 attack. There's finally a fungal shutting it down, but so many creep tumors have been killed that creep is forced back.
Yep. Puma closing in on a max. Lucky also working on a max, 185 to 195. Both these guys very nearly reaching that sort of in-game army composition. Upgrade-wise, both sides looking very, very good. Bio 2-2 working on 3-2. The Zerg army is 3-2 working on 3-3. So scary stuff. Ultralists do have their chitinous plating upgrade, so that means they're working on 5 armor as well. So Puma's army going to have to work really hard to do damage to this very beefy Zerg ground army.
Lucky has to be very, very careful that he's not attacking into the siege tanks once again. Obviously with Ultralists, yes, oh my god, and there he goes into the bottleneck position. This is definitely a mistake. He realizes, backs off, but he already lost a lot of units. A draw play at the bottom right. Lucky.
Yep.
Always
Lucky.
attacking into those sieged up tanks and in bottleneck position at that. With all those Ultralists, it's definitely a mistake. He pulls out, but not in time to save his Zerglings.
And the really great thing about Puma's play is that he's always doing something else. While he's moving his army, he's dropping. While he's dropping, he's attacking with 5 guys along the left side of the map. So just very, very active around the map is Puma. spreading Lucky out, making Lucky work so very hard. But still, Lucky's got a great-looking army. He's fully upgraded. 5 armor on his Ultras, 3 armor on his Lings, plus 3 attack on all of his ground forces. Moving down towards the bottom right-hand expand is Puma once again. Baits a fungal out of that lone infestor, but the majority of the Zerg army is nearby.
Both of them are maxed out. Now there's another double job headed towards the main base of Lucky, and this might deal a significant amount of damage. There are only a bunch of Zerglings left and the Spine Crawlers, and I guess that Lucky will actually lose a lot to this, especially since Puma is now trying to move out and putting pressure on the expansion at the bottom right.
Ooh, and here we go. Lucky is just gonna go for it. These tanks out front are a little bit exposed, and the Ultras, look at all these Ultras, Calder. That's 12 Ultralists. They're just gonna come crushing through. Finally, Lucky gets choked up a bit here at the bio of Puma, but look at this army, man. It is just, oh my, it's making such short work of everything, and Puma soundly loses that fight, dropping all the way to just 130 supply at the same time, though. Puma dropping in the main, doing a lot of damage to the infrastructure of Puma. I'm not sure what he killed there. Maybe it was the Ultralist Cavern. Also working on a couple of these hatcheries. Lucky is going to turn around and go home, try to defend.
Plus 3 attack upgrade, and finally has to pick up his unit. And, well, Lucky was able to defend against his opponent's aggression, but we have about the same amount of resources lost. Difference of 2,000. I like the transfuses from the Queen. This is especially very interesting if you see Ultralist, so that was definitely a good move by him. Rebuilding the Ultralist Cavern after they just got sniped by Puma. 150 supply against 170. The income now in favor of Puma still. He has a base at the top left. He's on 4 bases right now against Lucky's 5, but Lucky not saturating all of them. And his drone count is at 68 of 59 SCVs.
Yep. Ultra Cavern coming back up. No Greater Spire anywhere, not even a regular Spire, in fact. So there's no Broodlord tech coming. Puma has rebuilt that army. He's back up to 175 supply against the 185 of Lucky. Still, that's such a beefy ground army. Puma's adding more and more Marauders into this composition, so he's going to be more and more effective against this ultra-based Zerg army.
Going with 18 Marauders right now, 33 Marines, and he is getting even in upgrades with his opponent. Again on 191 supply, and Lucky needs to be careful. He definitely does not have this game won just yet. He has a lot of minerals and gas banked up though, and here comes another attack, once again leading with infested Swarm Eggs, and Puma backs off now. There is the Planetary Fortress, and he should be very careful about it, but it looks like Puma is going to sack it. He's not even trying to repair all the SCVs for victim to the Ultralisk as well, but once again the drop play at the bottom, sniping one of the hatcheries of Lucky, doing a really good job, and then the main base, another drop, tries to take down the hive tech, but not really succeeding in doing
Not going to succeed in taking out that hive, but does kill the 3rd base, means that Lucky is now mining barely in his natural and virtually only on the 4th, so the economy of Lucky taking quite a beating. Puma not doing a whole hell of a lot better. He's trying to take a 4th base, but that planetary at the top left represented his main mining source of income. We see a command center floating down here towards the 3 o'clock position where there is a burrowed Zergling just saying, LOL, can't land here.
Once again, we have both parties maxed out, base attempt at the right side of the map, and this time we have Lucky with a Spire Tech. He's going for the Spire Tech right now, and this would obviously put a huge threat to Puma's army composition, but it will take quite a while until we are going to see Broodlords. The fungal is not enough to take down the Marines, and whoa, this hatch might just die.
It's going to be close. The hatch does fall. That means Lucky has got no mining bases right now. He's distance mining from his 3rd and from his 4th. Good positioning here from Puma as well. Going to pick off a couple of Ultralisks.
A lot of Banelings die to the tank fire, very well placed by Puma. He is still facing 10 Ultralisks and 8 Infestors, 18 Banelings at that, but with his 8 tanks and of course this huge Marauder count by now, he is in a very, very good position to take on Lucky's army.
And if Puma positions himself well, it's going to be hard for all of these Ultras to be effective. They're so clunky, they get clogged up in chokes and around tanks. So, I mean, with so few Zerglings, the damage output of Puma's army, or of Lucky's army rather, while it's very high when everything's fighting, it's so hard to get everything fighting, Calvo.
Puma is once again everywhere. He's shutting down expansion attempts by Lucky all over the map, and the Ultralisk just running from left to right.
Look at these Marauders behind mineral lines just being a huge pain to these Ultras. Finally, they all get cleaned up.
And here comes Puma once again. He's going to get serious. He's trying to shut down the last mining bases for Lucky. And Lucky still trying to defend. He could have tried to go for some kind of run-by attempt, maybe put a little bit of pressure onto the 3rd and 4th of his opponent. But we have him just trying to defend against this, and this is so hard because with all the position that Puma has, he is always attacking his siege tank, and it happens once again. He's attacking into the tanks. We have the infestors in the back. Where are the funnels? There they are, beautiful funnels. A ton of medics trying to do their best in order to heal the Marines. But here comes Lucky, and Puma on even supply is not able to take down this force. All the medics die to the fungals as well.
Wow, great fungals that time by Lucky. Does clean up a lot of Puma's army. But there's still a Marine and a Marauder working on the third base of Lucky, and Puma's going to be fine lifting this command center. If he kills another expansion, and he's going to, this hatchery at the third goes down. So again, no mining bases for Lucky. Supply-wise, 120 to 120, but the fighting force of Lucky just dwindling. 3 Ultras, 8 Infestors, a handful of Banelings and Zerglings. That's not going to cut it against the 130 supply of Marine Marauder that Puma has right now.
The hero Marauder kills the hatch, and now the income for Lucky is down to 160 against 800 minerals per minute. Still mining. Puma is trying to take another base, and the army supply is obviously now in favor of Puma as well. At the bottom, once again, Marines getting dropped, taking the Banelings down, and this is just a very, very good position for Puma. He has expansions all over the place. He can use his mules. He is in the lead when it comes down to his army supply. At the same time, Lucky is really struggling right now. And for the last 15 minutes, he has only been trying to defend. He was never aggressive in the entire game because he just could not do anything.
Yeah, no counterattacking, nothing to put pressure back on Puma, and that's a bit of a mistake. Finally sends out a couple of bird infestors to try to apply some counter pressure. But Puma, you know, he's retaking the 3 o'clock expansion. He's back up to 150 supply against the 130 of Lucky. Lucky having such a hard time mining, finally securing 9 o'clock.
And we don't have enough Zerglings. He has so many Marauders, so there are 6 Ultralisks left, and he can snipe them quite easily. Even the Fungals don't do all that much damage to Marauders, especially with 10 Medivacs in the game. Yeah,
you're exactly right. And I mean, the problem now is Lucky. He's got to start becoming cost effective, and it's very difficult to be cost effective with like a pure Ultra army. Banelings are sometimes very cost effective, but when you're this low eco, I mean, a Baneling's got to kill 8 Marines to make itself worthwhile, it seems.
It looks like just Lucky is dying a slow but painful death now with 170 supply against 124. There's not a whole lot that he can do, especially with Puma being aggressive once again. He is trying to put pressure onto his opponent everywhere on the map. But for now, he's on 170 supply, still mining from 2 bases. And Lucky, he can't push out. As soon as he pushes out, Puma will be in the position to take down every single base of his opponent, just flanking from the right.
Lucky is going to at least force a lift on this expansion up in the top left-hand corner of the map. He's also going to be able to come down and probably kill the planetary at 12 o'clock if he wants to. It doesn't matter a whole lot right now as that base is mined out. And I think Lucky realizes it is not going to commit to that. In the meantime, Puma pushing forward through the center of the map.
Exactly what we just talked about. As soon as Lucky attacks, Puma is getting into position to take down the bases of the Zerg play. He has to retreat, and he will once again be confronted with sieged up tanks in a beautiful position for Puma.
Oh man, a couple of Fungals going to go down, but the unit's well spread out for Puma. Lucky going to try once again to come in here, but tanks are sieged up. Medevac's getting fungled. Actually, those Medevacs go all the way down. That could be kind of good, but
and
still,
here we go again.
It's just pure Ultra, and Ultra is not that good against this much Marine Marauder. Whoa, nice. You get those kind of Fungals. Great Fungals there. And all of a sudden, I have to put my foot in my mouth because the Bio Army melting away under that. More reinforcements streaming down. Ultra's thinning out quickly, though. Infested Terran's going to go down on these siege tanks. Lucky might just barely clean up the army of Puma, but still at 76 supply against 92 with only Infestors.